The rain hammered the windows of the Pike Place Market grocery like 1,000 tiny fists demanding entry. But inside, Alex Harper was lost in the rhythm of his own storm. At 28, with paint-splattered jeans and a heart as bruised as the overripe avocados he was eyeing, he reached for the last one, just as another hand, strong, steady, brushed his. Their eyes locked. Hazel meeting blue in a spark that cut through the fluorescent hum. And in that frozen second, Alex knew his world had just tilted off its axis. "Sorry," the stranger murmured, voice like gravel wrapped in silk. But neither pulled away, apples tumbling forgotten at their feet as fate laughed its cruel, beautiful joke. Jordan Ellis, 30 and fraying at the edges from 12-hour shifts at the Seattle Public Library, hadn't planned on collisions that night. His life was a neat stack of books and lesson plans. Shelves of solitude after his last breakup left him questioning if love was just a plot twist for other people. But there, amid the chaos of spilled fruit and shared apologies, Alex's grin, crooked, alive, cracked open something in him, a door he'd bolted shut years ago. They laughed it off over emergency coffee from the store's dingy machine, words tumbling like the rain outside. Alex, the struggling muralist with dreams bigger than his bank account. Jordan, the history teacher who quoted Whitman like scripture. By closing time, numbers were exchanged, and as they parted under the awning, Jordan's hand lingered on Alex's arm, a promise neither dared name yet. That first date was a whirlwind of Seattle's hidden corners, a dimly lit jazz bar in Capitol Hill where saxophone wails drowned their nerves, fingers brushing over shared fries slick with aioli. Alex talked about his latest canvas, a storm-tossed sea mirroring his restless soul. Jordan confessed his fear of fading into footnotes, teaching kids who saw history as dead while he yearned for something eternal. Laughter came easy. Alex's mimicry of pretentious gallery owners had Jordan snorting into his beer, but beneath it simmered a heat, electric and unspoken. When Jordan finally kissed him outside, rain-slicked lips tentative then fierce, Alex tasted possibility, the kind that mends fractures you didn't know were there. Weeks blurred into a rhythm neither wanted to break. Jordan's apartment in Fremont became their sanctuary, walls lined with Alex's sketches and Jordan's dog-eared novels. Mornings meant lazy pancakes, Alex flipping them with theatrical flair while Jordan read aloud from Kerouac, his voice weaving dreams into daylight. Nights were tangled sheets and whispered confessions. Alex's abandonment by a father who couldn't stomach his phase, Jordan's quiet ache from a conservative family back in Spokane who still sent birthday cards with Bible verses tucked inside. Yet in each other's arms, those shadows retreated, replaced by a love fierce and unyielding, the kind that turns strangers into lifelines. But love, Alex learned, is a thief in the night, stealing breaths you thought were yours. It was a crisp October afternoon, 3 months in, when Jordan proposed to hike up Discovery Park. To celebrate us, he said, eyes alight with that boyish hope Alex adored. They wandered trails lined with madronas, hands clasped, the sound glittering below like shattered glass. At the lighthouse overlook, Jordan dropped to one knee, not with a ring, but a simple silver keychain etched with their initials intertwined. "To my place, forever?" he asked, voice cracking. Alex pulled him up, kissing him until the world spun, tears mingling with the salt air. Forever starts now. Their commitment ceremony was small, intimate, a backyard affair in Jordan's sister's garden, under string lights that danced like fireflies. Vows exchanged amid wildflowers. Alex promising to paint their future in bold strokes. Jordan vowing to archive every laugh, every scar. Friends toasted with craft IPAs, the air thick with joy and the faint scent of Puget Sound. That night, as they lay entwined, Alex traced the curve of Jordan's jaw, whispering, "We're building something real." Jordan smiled, pulling him closer. Yeah, unbreakable. Unbreakable. Until the call came at dawn on a Tuesday in spring. Jordan's phone buzzed like a hornet, shattering the quiet. "Mr. Ellis? This is Harborview Medical. Your brother. There's been an accident." The words blurred into white noise. A car crash on I-5. Daniel's Jeep hydroplaning in the downpour. His wife Mia gone instantly. Their unborn child lost in the wreckage. Daniel clung to life by threads. But the miracle was Riley, their 3-year-old daughter, strapped in the back, bruised but breathing, eyes wide with a terror no toddler should know. Jordan drove through sheets of rain, Alex gripping his hand white-knuckled in the passenger seat. The hospital corridors smelled of antiseptic and despair, fluorescent lights buzzing like accusations. Daniel lay pale and broken, machines beeping a dirge, but it was Riley who undid them. Curled in a corner bed, tiny fists clutching a frayed teddy, her dark curls matted, brown eyes, so like Mia's, staring at nothing. "Uncle Joe," she whimpered when Jordan approached, and he shattered, scooping her into arms that trembled. Alex watched, heart twisting, as Jordan rocked her, murmuring nonsense about stars and safety, while nurses explained the unthinkable. Daniel wouldn't wake, and with no other family, Riley needed them. The decision settled like fog over the bay, heavy, inevitable. They signed papers in a haze, emergency guardianship thrusting them from lovers to parents overnight. Home was chaos, Riley's wails echoing off Fremont walls, her nightmares clawing through nights. Alex, who'd never held a child beyond casual Annie duties, fumbled bottles and bedtime stories, his artist hands too rough for a fragile trust. Jordan, ever the anchor, read her picture books on ancient explorers, but his eyes hollowed, grief for Daniel a constant undertow. "We can't fail her," he'd say, voice fierce, but Alex saw the cracks. The way Jordan stared at old photos, Mia's laugh frozen in pixels. Laughter crept in slowly, a thief in softer guises. One evening, as rain pattered the roof, Riley smeared yogurt across Alex's cheek during dinner, her first giggle bubbling up like a spring. "Messy artist," Jordan teased, wiping it away, and Alex retaliated with a dollop on Jordan's nose, the three of them dissolving into hysterics on the kitchen floor. It was a bomb, that sound, Riley's joy a bridge over their sorrow. They built routines. Park picnics where Alex sketched her chubby cheeks mid-swing, Jordan teaching her to name evergreens like old friends. Bedtimes became rituals of stories woven from their lives, tales of accidental meetings and keys to forever, Riley's eyelids fluttering shut to the cadence of their voices entwined. Yet tears were never far, shadows lengthening with each milestone. Riley's first preschool drop-off was a battlefield. Her screams as Jordan pried her fingers loose, Alex biting back his own panic in the car. "What if she hates us for this?" Alex whispered later, curled on the couch. Jordan pulled him close, lips brushing his temple. "She doesn't. We're her world now." But doubt gnawed. Legal hurdles loomed, adoption paperwork a labyrinth of forms, and fees their combined income strained. Jordan's family surfaced then, a venomous email from his mother. "This isn't God's plan. Send the child to proper relatives." The words landed like blows, reopening wounds, Jordan retreating into silence, Alex raging in sketches of fractured skylines. Kitch 10 escalated one stormy November night, thunder rumbling like judgment. Riley spiked a fever, her small body burning as Alex rushed her to the ER, Jordan tied up in parent-teacher conferences. Alone in the sterile wait, Alex's mind spiraled, visions of loss, of failing the one pure thing they claimed. Doctors murmured meningitis scare, IVs snaking in her arm, and when Jordan burst in, face ashen, they clung together, Riley's hand tiny between theirs. Hours blurred into vigil, prayers unspoken to gods they'd long questioned. Dawn brought relief, antibiotics winning, her color returning. But in that crucible, Alex vowed silently. No more half measures. They'd fight for her, for them, tooth and nail. The battle lines drew sharper with the adoption hearing. Seattle's family court was a coliseum of suits and stares. Judge Harlan, a stern woman with silver hair and eyes like polished steel, presiding over their fate. Jordan testified first, voice steady as he recounted Daniel's last call. The crash's echo, Riley's first whispered to him in delirium. Alex followed, heart pounding, describing murals of family he'd painted in secret. Riley at center, encircled by their love. But opposition slithered in, a distant cousin of Mia's, greased by Jordan's mother's whispers, claiming rights, painting them as unfit experimenters in a world that still flinched at two men raising a girl. The gavel's pause stretched eternal, the courtroom air thick with unspoken biases. Alex's hand found Jordan's under the table, fingers interlaced like roots. "We've got this," he breathed, though fear clawed his throat. Verdict came swift, granted with conditions, counseling, check-ins, but Riley was theirs. Outside, under clearing skies, they knelt to her level, her pigtails askew from the weight. "Home?" she asked. Jordan nodded, tears carving paths down his cheeks. "Always, Peanut." Winter wrapped them in tentative peace, holidays a mosaic of firsts. They strung lights on a lopsided tree, Riley's laughter pealing as ornaments clinked like bells. Alex baked gingerbread men with wonky smiles, Jordan leading carols off-key, their voices a harmony born of scars. Yet beneath the cheer, fractures lingered. Jordan's nightmares of the crash, Alex's insomnia, sketching phantom losses. One midnight, as snow dusted the windows, Jordan woke gasping, Alex drawing him back with kisses soft as snowfall. "We're enough," Alex murmured, tracing constellations on his skin. Jordan's reply was a sigh, profound and yielding. More than. Spring unfurled like a promise kept, cherry blossoms painting queen and pink. Riley bloomed too, words tumbling freer, drawings of stick-figure families with 2 daddies and a bear. But life's tempests brewed anew. Alex's gallery show, a make-or-break for his career, clashed with Jordan's tenure review, both demanding souls they barely possessed. Exhaustion frayed edges, snapped words over spilled milk, silences heavy as fog. "I can't breathe," Alex confessed one evening, paintbrush idle in his lap. Jordan knelt before him, hands cupping his face. "Then let's learn together. For her. For us." Renewal came in fragments, date nights stolen amid bedtime battles, where they'd dance in the kitchen to old soul records, Riley clapping from her high chair. A weekend getaway to the Olympics, tents pitched under stars. Riley's out fireflies mirroring their own rediscovery. There, by a crackling fire, Jordan pulled a velvet box from his pack. A ring, simple gold band etched with waves. "Marry me for real this time?" Alex's yes was a sob, sealing vows under the vast sky, Riley asleep in their lap like a blessing. Summer scorched Seattle's edges, barbecues in Discovery Park where friends gathered, toasting their patchwork family. Riley chased bubbles, her giggles a symphony, while Alex and Jordan stole glances, heat in their eyes promising nights ahead. But fate, ever the trickster, dealt a final hand. News of Daniel's estate, a modest inheritance tangled in probate, forcing Jordan to face spoken ghosts. He went alone, Alex's letters in his pocket, words of fire and faith. The confrontation was raw, his mother's tears, accusations of betrayal. But Jordan stood firm, voice a quiet thunder. "Love isn't a sin. It's our salvation." He left with papers signed, chains broken, returning to arms that healed. Autumn leaves turned gold as their wedding day dawned. A hilltop ceremony overlooking the sound, vows renewed with Riley as flower girl, petals scattering like confetti. Laughter rang, her ring-bearer puppy bolting mid-ceremony, but tears flowed too, in toast to Daniel and Mia, ghosts honored in joy. That night, under a harvest moon, they made love slow and sacred, bodies a map of survival, hearts entwined eternal. Years folded like pages, Riley growing into a whirlwind of questions and curls, her daddy's her North Star. Challenges came, schoolyard taunts met, with Jordan's lessons on history's hidden heroes, Alex's canvases funding braces and bikes. Laughter defined them. Pie fights on Pie Day, road trips belting show tunes. Tears tempered strength. Riley's questions about her mommy, answered with stories of fierce love lost too soon. In the end, as they watched her graduate high school, cap tassel swaying, eyes bright with futures, they stood hand in hand, rings glinting in the sun. "We did it," Alex whispered, voice thick. Jordan smiled, pulling him close. "No, we became it." Their family, forged in accident and accident, between laughter's light and tears' depth, a testament that love, in all its queer, unbreakable glory, rewrites endings into beginnings. The applause thundered through the auditorium like a wave crashing on Alki Beach, but Alex barely heard it, his focus laser-sharp on Riley's beaming face atop the stage. At 18, she was a force, tall and graceful, with Mia's curls tamed into an elegant updo, Daniel's dimples flashing as she gripped her diploma. Jordan squeezed Alex's hand, knuckles white, his blue eyes misty under the brim of his fedora. "Our girl," he murmured, the words a prayer fulfilled. 20 years since that grocery store tumble, and here they were, a family etched in time's unyielding stone. Flashback tugged like an undertow to those early days, when guardianship papers still smelled of fresh ink. Riley had arrived in their lives a tempest. Nights of colic cries that shredded nerves, days of tentative touches as she navigated her new anchors. Alex remembered the first time she called him Dada, a sleepy mumble during a midnight feeding. He'd frozen, bottle trembling, tears blurring the nursery's glow-in-the-dark stars. Jordan, watching from the doorway, had crossed the room in 2 strides, enveloping them both in a hug that smelled of chamomile and resolve. "Yeah, kiddo, that's us." Their home evolved into a haven of controlled chaos. Walls splashed with Alex's murals. Whimsical forests where Riley could hide from monsters. Shelves bowed under Jordan's history tomes, now dog-eared by tiny hands. Mornings were symphonies of clattering bowls. Alex experimenting with blueberry muffins while Jordan quizzed Riley on presidents over oatmeal. Lincoln freed the slaves, but who freed your daddy's hearts? He'd tease, and she'd giggle, pointing at Alex with syrup-sticky fingers. Laughter was their currency, traded in tickle fights and impromptu dance parties to Prince blasting from the kitchen radio. But tears were the forge, hammering vulnerabilities into steel. The adoption's aftermath brought shadows. Mandatory home visits from social workers whose clipboards had judgments, questions probing their lifestyle's impact on Riley with veil barbs. One evening, after a particularly invasive interview, how do you explain two fathers to a little girl? Jordan slammed the door, pacing like a caged wolf. They think we're broken, he growled, fists clenched. Alex drew him down to the rug, knees knocking, and held him as sobs racked that broad frame. We're not. We're whole because of her. That night, they called a therapist, not out of defeat, but defiance, turning wounds into wisdom. Kitch 10 ignited anew when Riley turned 5, her curiosity a spark to dry tinder. At kindergarten orientation, a classmate's innocent query, "Where's your mommy?" unleashed a flood. Riley came home silent, drawing jagged lines in crayon that Alex recognized as anger script. Bedtime confessions spilled. Am I weird? Because of you. Jordan's heart fractured, but he knelt eye level, voice steady as Seattle's fairies. Weird is wonderful, Peanut. Like the aurora, rare, beautiful, lights up the dark. Alex added sketches of diverse families from history's margins. Cowboys loving cowboys, queens with queens, showing her she was part of a grand, glittering tapestry. Yet external storms raged fiercer. Jordan's tenure battle peaked that year. University politics, a viper's nest where his advocacy for LGBTQ plus curriculum drew fire from bored traditionalists. Late nights, grading bled into dawn arguments. Alex's worry manifesting in unfinished canvases. You're killing yourself, he'd say, fingers tracing exhaustion's hollows under Jordan's eyes. The climax came in a board meeting ambush. Anonymous emails leaked, twisting Jordan's personal life into scandal fodder. Protests erupted outside the admin building. Rainbow flags waving like war banners, students chanting his name. Alex stood front row, Riley on his shoulders clutching a sign. Love teaches best. The victory was Pyrrhic, tenure granted, but scars lingered. Jordan emerged changed, channeling fury into a nonprofit, Echoes Unerased, archiving queer histories for schools. Alex's art surged too, galleries clamoring for his Family Forge series. Portraits of Riley amid imagined ancestors, strokes bold with resilience. Their love deepened in the forge's heat, intimacy a reclaiming. Slow dances in the living room, where hands mapped familiar terrains, whispers vowing endurance. Riley's tween years brought gales of growth, hormones and heartaches testing their moorings. At 12, her first crush, a freckled girl named Lena, blossomed in shy notes and playground glances. Alex caught her doodling hearts, grinning conspiratorially over ice cream. Go for it, kid. Hearts don't discriminate. But Jordan fretted, memories of his own closeted youth haunting. When Lena's parents pulled her away, citing values, Riley's devastation mirrored his. They rallied. A girls' night with Alex's drag queen friend Diva and GE makeup tutorials. Jordan penning letters to the editor on acceptance's front lines. From ashes rose Riley's voice. A school GSA club founded, her speeches fierce as her father's love. Laughter anchored them through tempests. Family vacations to the San Juans became legend. Kayaking fiascos where Jordan capsized spectacularly. Alex's photos capturing Riley's howls of mirth. Campfire ghost stories devolving into pillow fights. One summer, they adopted Milo the Mutt, a scruffy rescue whose tail wags rivaled Riley's joy. Mornings meant three-way tugs of war over breakfast scraps. Evenings walks where confessions flowed freer than the Salish Sea. Tears, though, carved deepest channels. At 14, Riley traced her adoption file's edges, questions bubbling like overdue rain. Did I steal your life? She asked one twilight, voice small against the sound's roar. Jordan and Alex exchanged glances, then gathered her between them on the porch swing. Stories poured. The grocery spill, the crash's cruelty, the choice that birthed them anew. You didn't steal, Riley. You gifted us everything. Sobs mingled with stars, healing in the hush. As high school loomed, challenges compounded. Riley's activism drawing trolls online, Jordan's nonprofit facing funding cuts amid national backslides on queer rights. A bomb threat to their home, scrawled hate on the mailbox, forced police lights flashing in their yard. Alex shielded Riley's eyes, but she saw fire kindling in her gaze. "We'll fight," she declared, echoing their vows. Community rallied. Vigils with candles and choirs. Alex's murals on solidarity walls. Jordan's lectures going viral. Through it all, their marriage was the quiet constant. Anniversaries marked with private toasts. Rings renewed in goldsmith flames. Intimacy evolved. Tender explorations amid parenting's pull, reaffirming that desire thrives in devotion soil. Now, post-graduation, as confetti rained, Riley bounded to them, cap askew. Dadas. Hugs enveloped, a trinity unbreakable. Later, over dim sum in Chinatown, dreams unfolded. Her Stanford acceptance, art scholarships, history majors. To accidents that build empires, Jordan toasted, glasses clinking. In bed that night, Alex traced Jordan's laugh lines, silver threading his blonde. Worth every tear. Jordan's kiss was answer, profound. Their story, an epic of chance and choice, whispered that families aren't born, but chosen, laughter and tears the ink of eternity. Riley's departure for college hit like a squall off the strait of Juan de Fuca, sudden, fierce, leaving the house echoing with absence. Boxes lined the hallway, stuffed with dorm essentials. Jordan's annotated Austen novels, Alex's custom sketch pads, Milo's well-chewed blanket for homesick nights. At 22 now, Riley had sharpened into a scholar activist, her thesis on queer erasure in Pacific Northwest lore earning accolades. But as they loaded the Subaru at dawn, tears streaked faces unashamed. "Don't forget the good fights," Jordan said, voice gravelly, crushing her in a bear hug. Alex added, "And call when the world's too loud." Her grin, dimpled and defiant. "Only if you promise more pie fights." Empty nest settled like autumn mist, a quiet that amplified heartbeats. Jordan threw himself into echoes unerased, expanding chapters to virtual archives, his lectures drawing crowds from Berkeley to Boston. Alex's studio hummed, commissions pouring for public installations. Murals of intertwined hands spanning bridges, symbols of unions forged in fire. Evenings, they rediscovered each other. Wine on the deck, overlooking the twinkling skyline, conversations meandering from Riley's emails to dreams deferred. "What now?" Alex mused one night, head on Jordan's lap. "Us," Jordan replied, fingers combing dark waves. The sequel. Laughter returned in waves, lighter now, laced with wisdom. They joined a queer book club in Capitol Hill, debates over Baldwin dissolving into bar crawls, where Jordan's Whitman recitals earned free shots. Alex dragged him to open mics, his spoken word pieces on love's accidents drawing whoops and tears. Spontaneous road trips punctuated weekends. A dash to Olympic hot springs, soaking aches in steaming pools, steam rising like ghosts of passions past. "Remember when we hiked here, pre-Riley?" Alex teased, splashing. Jordan's eyes sparkled. Vividly. Round 2. Nights under canvas reignited sparks, bodies remembering rhythms long interrupted. Yet tears lingered, ghosts in the machine. Jordan's annual checkup revealed a shadow on his lung, benign, the doc swore, but biopsies loomed like storm clouds. Waiting rooms revived crash night vigils. Alex's hand a lifeline as Jordan joked through fear. "If it's bad, haunt me with bad puns." Clean bill came, but the scare reshaped them. More walks, less worry, a pact to live louder. Riley's visit home that Christmas amplified it. Her stories of campus rallies. A girlfriend named Kai with tattoos and tenacity. Dinner debates flew. Generational clashes on activism's edges. Laughter sealing bonds. Kitsch tin brewed nationally then, ripples hitting home. The 2024 elections birthed a backlash tide. Anti-LGBT bills flooding state houses, echoes targeted by funders cowed by culture wars. Jordan's inbox brimmed with hate, voicemails venomous, pervert professor poisoning kids. One night, after a slashed tire outside a speaking gig in Tacoma, he came home hollow-eyed, badge of a deepening cut on his cheek from heckler's swing. Alex cleaned the wound with steady hands, fury simmering. "We move, or fight harder." Jordan's choice, a TEDx talk, accidents of history. Why queer stories save us, going viral, donations surging like a countertide. Their marriage weathered with grace, anniversaries evolving. 30 years marked by a vow renewal on that same lighthouse bluff. Rain holding off for once. Friends gathered. Riley officiating in a suit sharp as her wit. Kai beaming beside. Vows updated. Alex pledging to paint their golden years in sunset hues. Jordan archiving their private legends. The kiss drew cheers, sealing a love that bent but never broke. Riley's wedding the following spring was a kaleidoscope of joy and jitters. A garden affair in Golden Gate Park, eucalyptus arching overhead. Alex walked her down the aisle, arm linked, whispering, "Proud doesn't cover it." Jordan teared up at the altar, toasting with champagne flutes, to accidents that cascade into constellations. But beneath the blooms, old fears surfaced, Kai's conservative folks boycotting, whispers of not natural. Riley still held, but post-honeymoon calls confessed doubts. Am I enough? Their counsel, drawn from decades. Love's not permission. It's persistence. Grandparenthood arrived unannounced. A positive test shared via FaceTime. Riley's glow undimmed by morning sickness. Your turn to fumble bottles, she laughed. Jordan and Alex dove in. Nursery murals of starry seas, history books for tots. The birth, a boy, Elias, with Kai's eyes and Riley's fire, unraveled them anew. Hospital holds trembled hands, echoes of Riley's arrival. Cycle complete, Jordan breathed, Elias tiny in his arms. Back in Seattle, visits filled weekends. Elias's coos amid burp cloths, laughter and Lego towers toppling. Tears came too. Riley's postpartum shadows. Kai's work strains testing young vows. They mediated gently, stories of their stumbles a balm. We survive crashes, Alex said. You'll surf these waves. As Elias toddled into twos, their legacy deepened. Jordan's book, Threads of Chance. Queer families rewoven, top charts, tours blending with grandpa duties. Alex's retrospective at Sam drew lines around the block, accidental series closing with a family portrait. 3 generations, hands linked. National awards followed. Jordan's MacArthur, Alex's Guggenheim, spotlights on the family that started it all. Yet private kitsch tin simmered. A health blip for Alex, arthritis stiffening his brush hand, forcing adaptations to digital palettes. Jordan's support was fierce, adaptive tools sourced, co-painting sessions where strokes merged like their lives. Art evolves, he said. Like us. In quiet moments, they reflected, grocery carts long retired, but the spill's magic eternal. Laughter's ledger overflowed. Elias's first, Gampy for Jordan, pie crust wars with Riley. Tears tally taught. Grief's not endpoint, but teacher. One eve, as fairy horns load, they swayed on the porch, Milo snoring at feet. Best accident ever, Alex murmured. Jordan's kiss lingered. Our greatest story. Elias's laughter ricocheted off the high ceilings of their Fremont home, like sunlight fracturing prisms. Pure, unfiltered, a sound that chased shadows from corners long dim. At 4, he was a whirlwind of curiosity, clambering bookshelves for Jordan's atlases, demanding Alex draw dinosaurs with daddies. Grandparenting, they discovered, was love distilled. No diapers, just delights, wisdom dispensed in cookie crumbs. Weekends brimmed with ferry rides to Bainbridge. Elias's nose pressed to glass, exclaiming at Orcus breaching like myths made manifest. Riley and Kai thrived in the bay, their pod growing. Elias joined by sister Nova, a fierce sprite with curls and convictions. Visits were carnivals, backyard barbecues where Jordan grilled salmon tales of indigenous histories, Alex leading mural workshops on butcher paper. Laughter layered thick, Nova's dramatic retellings of Gampy Joe's crash stories, sanitized for tots. Elias's obsession with Alex's magic paints turning baths tie-dye. Tears, ever the undercurrent, surfaced in waves. Riley's career as a documentary filmmaker unearthed personal excavations. Her film on Daniel and Mia's love, culled from home videos and interviews, premiering at Sundance, to standing ovations and sobs. Watching from the audience, Jordan gripped Alex's hand, flashbacks vivid. The hospital's beep, Riley's first breath in their world. Post-screening Q&A, a journalist probed, how did loss shape your queerness? Riley's answer, eyes on them. It made me fight for joy's inheritance. Their own ripples widened. Jordan's echoes pivoted to global arms, partnering with indigenous queer collectives in the Salish Sea, trips to Haida Gwaii blending lectures with totem carvings. Alex tagged along, sketching elders' faces, stories seeping into his canvas. Exhibits touring MoMA, proceeds funding scholarships for out youth. Accolades piled. Keynotes at Stonewall retrospectives, profiles in the New Yorker painting them as accidental icons. Kitsch tin crested when national tides turned toxic again. A 2030s resurgence of family values crusades, bills slashing trans healthcare, adoption reforms eyeing queer homes. Jordan's nonprofit became a bulwark, lawsuits filed from their kitchen table. Riley consulting on footage. Threats escalated. Doxing, protests at Alex's gallery openings. A brick through their studio window etched with slurs. Police reports stacked, but fear fermented. Jordan's insomnia returning. Alex's sketches darkening to thorns. The breaking point. A midnight call from Kai, voice shattered. Nova, 6, bullied at school for 2 moms, coming home bruised from recess fists. She's broken, Kai wept. They flew south next dawn, arms a harbor for Nova's tears. Jordan channeling grandfather fury into a viral op-ed. Grandkids teach us. Hate's the real accident. Backlash boomed. Death threats flooding lines, but so did solidarity. GoFundMe surges for anti-bullying orgs, celebrities amplifying. Through the fray, their marriage was ballast. 40 years woven tight. Anniversaries now pilgrimages. That grocery store, remade boutique, where they'd reenact the spill with props, clerks cheering. Intimacy, seasoned, was sacrament. Mornings tangled in sheets, exploring with the leisure of lifetimes, gratitude in every graze. Riley's second doc, Laughter's Ledger, chronicled their clan. Interviews laced with pie-fight outtakes, crash eulogies turned triumphs. Oscars buzz hummed, but the real gold. Family screening in their living room, Elias and Nova wrapped, questions flying. Did you always know? Elias asked. Alex's wink, nah kid. We learned, as you will. Grandkids' milestones, mark time's tender theft. Elias's kindergarten debut, Jordan tearing up over finger paints. Nova's piano recital. Alex beaming at off-key scales, echoing his own stumbles. Tears flowed freer now, joy's alloy. Riley's empty nest pangs mirrored theirs, confessions over wine. You made it look easy. Their chorus. It wasn't. But worth it. A health tempest for Jordan. Prostate scare at 70. Tested new. Biopsies, weights. Alex's vigil fierce, as ever. Benign again, but it spurred legacies. Will's updated, letters to grandkids on resilience's art. Paint boldly. Alex penned. Archive fiercely. Jordan added. As Elias hit 8, his questions pierced. Why do some people hate our family? Park bench talks ensued. Jordan unpacking history's hurts. Alex sketching maps of ally paths. Laughter lightened. Fort building fails, where tents collapsed in giggles. National calm followed storm. Electoral shifts, court winds, eroding walls. Their home became haven for mints. Young queers crashing couches, absorbing stories over stews. One night, a trans teen named Sam, fleeing Bible Belt, broke down. I feel like an accident. Jordan's arm around, the best kind. Like us. In quiet, Alex and Jordan reflected. Milo long buried under the Madrona, but his spirit in every wag. Our plot twists, Alex said, sketching by lamplight. Jordan's smile, epic's understatement. Nova's 8th birthday dawned with a kind of Seattle summer rarity. Blue skies stretching endless, the sound a mirror of sapphire calm. The party sprawled their backyard. Piñata swings and face paint stations, grandkids shrieking as candy rained. Jordan manned the grill, apron proclaiming queer as folk hero, flipping burgers with tales of prohibition bootleggers. Alex orchestrated games, his accident alley relay, blindfolded grocery cart dashes, eliciting howls, Elias crowning himself spill master. Riley snapped photos, Kai herding stragglers, the air thick with sunscreen and sisterhood. Laughter's legacy pulsed strong, but tears underbelly stirred. Post-party cleanup unearthed an old photo album. Nova flipping pages to a faded shot. Toddler Riley on Jordan's shoulders, Alex mid-laugh, pre-crash innocence captured. Tell me about the accident again, she pressed, eyes wide. They did, voices weaving loss with love's loom. Daniel's grin, Mia's melody, the call that reshaped stars. Nova's hug was fierce. Good thing you caught her. Their public lives crested waves of impact. Jordan's sequel, Tears Tapestry, a memoir manifesto, hit bestsellers, tours blending TED stages with community halls. Alex's installation scaled skylines, a massive entwined sculpture in Portland, steel lovers cradling child forms, etched with visitor stories. Media swarmed, podcasts probing, How do you sustain after 50 years? Their duet answer. Choose daily. Laugh often. Cry clean. Kitch 10 ignited domestically when Elias 10 declared his crush, a non-binary classmate, Theo, with braces and boundless energy. School dances loomed, but parental whispers chilled. Theo's folks, conservative transplants, banning confusion. Elias's heartbreak echoed Riley's first. Jordan coaching pep talks over ice cream. Hearts chart their own maps. Alex added art therapy, doodles of flag-waving couples. The dance night climaxed in triumph. Elias and Theo twirling under disco lights, fists pumping from the bleachers. Broader storms gathered. A 2040s federal rollback on marriage equality pilots. Whispers of redefinition committees eyeing adoptions. Echoes mobilized. Jordan testifying in D.C. Voice of Clarion. We've built empires on accidents. Don't dismantle them. Protests pulse coast to coast. Riley's films fueling fires. Grandkids marching with signs. Love's not up for vote. Threats resurfaced. Hacked emails. A firebomb hoax at Alex's studio. But unity armored. Donor booms. Ally coalitions. Marriage's golden thread gleamed in subtleties. 60 years toasted with craft gin on the bluff. Rings recast with grandkids' handprints embedded. Intimacy, a gentle tide. Shared baths, scented sage. Stories murmured skin to skin. Gratitude's glow undimmed. Grandparenting deep in hues. Nova's violin bows drew crowds at youth orchestras. Jordan critiquing with historian's ear for emotion. Elias's soccer goals celebrated with Alex's victory murals on garage doors. Tears textured. Nova's tween angst over identity. Kai's therapy session shared. Am I failing her? Their wisdom. Parenting's not perfection. It's presence. A curveball struck Jordan. Early dementia flickers. Names slipping like fog. Diagnosis day. Alex held the Kleenex box. Resolve steel. We'll map it together. Adaptations flowed. Labeled shelves. Memory games with Elias's puzzles. Riley's tech aids for virtual archives. Jordan's fire endured, dictating chapters to Alex's voice recorder. Their collaboration a love letter to longevity. Elias's bar mitzvah, blending Kai's Jewish roots with their eclectic rites, wove faiths. Jordan's speech, halting but heartfelt. Torah teaches accidents birth covenants. Like us, laughter in the Orah's circle, tears in quiet toasts. National victories mounted. Supreme Court affirmations, funding floods for Queer Edition. Their home, a beacon, hosted accident alumni. Mints now mentors, toasting origins over potlucks. One dusk, as gulls wheeled, Alex sketched Jordan napping in the Adirondack, lines soft with years. Our masterpiece, he whispered. Jordan stirred, eyes clear, co-authored. Eternally. Elias's 13th birthday marked a threshold. The backyard bash evolving into a mitzvah mashup, soccer scrimmages yielding to Torah trivia, cake layered with rainbow frosting. At 13, he towered, lanky limbs and a voice cracking toward bass. Theo ever at his side, their handholds casual as breathing. Jordan refereed games, whistle blasts punctuating puns on ancient battles. Alex DJ'd, mixes blending klezmer with hip-hop, Nova breakdancing to cheers. The toast, Jordan raising a glass, voice steady despite memory's mists. To Elias, our explorer of hearts, may your accidents be as fortuitous as ours. Laughter's archive brimmed, but tears etched finer lines. Jordan's dementia progressed subtly, forgotten grocery lists, but stories intact, retold with vivid flair. Family adapted seamlessly. Riley's app for oral histories, capturing his Whitman whispers. Alex's illustrated journals, pages blooming with their saga. A scare came mid-tour. Jordan wandering a hotel lobby, disoriented, but Alex's GPS ping and calm retrieval turned panic to protocol. We're navigators, he said, tucking him in. Jordan's grin. With you as compass? Always. Public chapters closed gracefully. Jordan's final book, Between Laughter and Tears, a co-authored elegy with Alex, debuted to acclaim. Forewords by grandkids, epilogues of hope. Tours downsized to virtual, but impact echoed. Universities endowing Ellis Harper chairs in queer studies. Alex's retrospectives spanned continents, accidentals, installations interactive now, visitors adding digital strokes to family trees. Kitch 10 familial flared when Nova, 11, announced her transition. She/they pronouns, a name blooming from seed. Kai's support wavered under work whirlwinds, tears, and late-night calls. How do I get this right? Riley leaned on them, Jordan's counsel gold. Listen louder than fear. They hosted a Nova night, backyard renaming under lanterns, Elias emceeing with toasts, Alex unveiling a portrait. Nova as Phoenix, wings of watercolor fire. School battles ensued. Admin pushback on bathrooms, but community lawyered up, Echoes funding the fight. Victory parade. Nova's first day, backpack slung, family flanking like sentinels. National Gales shifted benevolent, a equity era dawned, protections codified, adoption streamlined. Their testimonies, archived eternally, inspired bills, the Accident Act, mandating inclusive foster training. Marriage's tapestry, 70 threads strong, shimmered in rituals. Anniversaries pilgrimaged full circle. Grocery store now a cafe, spills reenacted with espresso foam, baristas in on the lore. Intimacy, a whisper soft art. Adaptive aids for Jordan's tremors. Alex's touches mapping memory lanes. Climaxes in shared sighs. Love's language unspoken. Grandparenting's joys multiplied. Elias's first kiss with Theo, awkward and announced via text. Officially official. Sparked celebratory esmores. Nova's poetry slams. Verses on fluidity, drawing snaps and sobs. Tears purified. Kai's burnout sabbatical, crashing their couch for recharge talks. Riley's director's block, scripts co-written over dawn coffees. A milestone quake. Jordan's 80th, a surprise gala at the library where he once taught. Tributes poured. Riley's montage of spills to symphonies, grandkid skits on Gampy's gaffes. His speech, notes in hand. Life's plot? One big, beautiful accident. Grateful for my co-stars. Alex's arm steady, tears twin tracks. Legacy bloomed wild. Mints multiplied. A network of harbor kids. Safe houses named for that fateful ER. Elias interned at Echoes, digitizing diaries. Nova curated Alex's exhibits. Themes on transformation. One autumn eve, leaves carpeting paths. They strolled the park. Jordan's cane tapping rhythm. Alex's arm looped. Regrets. Jordan asked, eyes distant. Alex's pause, then none. Every tear a brushstroke. Jordan's squeeze. Every laugh the frame. The autumn of Jordan's 85th year painted Seattle in fire. Maples blazing along Aurora. The air crisp with cider and change. Elias, now 16, captained the soccer team. His jersey emblazoned with a rainbow armband. Theo co-captain and constant. Nova, 14, headlined youth TEDs on gender galaxies. Her zine, Phoenix phases circulating campuses. Family dinners, bi-weekly sacraments, brimmed with banter. Elias's college apps, Nova's first date jitters. Riley's Oscar nod for Tears Tapestry sequel. Jordan presided, stories seasoned by time. Alex annotating with sketches, a living codex of their odyssey. Laughter's symphony swelled undiminished. Grandkids' pranks evolved. Elias hacking the smart fridge for midnight serenades. Nova staging improv, accident, reenactments with props pilfered from Alex's studio. Jordan's chuckles, deeper now, anchored all. Alex's guffaws, infectious as ever, sparked chains. Tears, refined to essence, fell in measures. Jordan's dementia wove forgetfulness with lucidity. Days lost in 1990s mists. Evenings sharp as the crashes echo. Caregiving's mantle passed fluidly. Riley's weekly check-ins. Kai's meal trains, but Alex bore the core, his artist patience a vigil. A fall one winter. Hip fracture from icy stoop. Tested steel. Hospital haze. Rehab routines. Jordan's grumbles masking fear. Bench already? He'd quip. Alex's retort bedside nah. Halftime show. Recovery rallied family. Elias reading sports stats. Nova composing healing hymns. Emerging stronger. Jordan walkerbound but spirit soaring. Public echoes faded to fond farewells. Jordan's last keynote, a whisper-soft address at a virtual Stonewall gala. Accidents aren't ends. Their invitations. Applause thundered digital. Legacy locked in lore. Alex's final exhibit, Eternal Spills, a holographic grocery aisle where visitors collide, avatars, sharing tales, interactive immortality. Kitsch tin crested generational. Elias's coming out essay, published in The Atlantic, Inherited Accidents, a queer son's map, drew acclaim and arrows. Trolls dissecting their indoctrination. School board hearings loomed, but Nova's viral rebuttal video, Poetry slammed over family footage. Shifted tides, petitions flooding. Win secured, curriculum affirmed, Elias valedictorian bound. Marriage's eternal flame flickered steadfast. 80 years, a vow vigil on the bluff. Wind whipping waves below. Words wind-worn. Alex's still tumbling into you. Jordan's forever's our floor. Intimacy, ethereal now. Handholds tracing veins like rivers. Memories kindled in gazes. Love's quiet crescendo. Grandparenting's arc peaked in milestones. Elias's prom, Theo and Tux's twinned, corsages pinned with pride. Nova's bat mitzvah, blending rites in a ceremony of self. Today, I rise, as we all do. Tears cascaded. Riley's empty nest redux with kids fledging. Confessions over Chardonnay. Your blueprint saved us. A gentle unraveling for Jordan. Strokes stealing strides, but not soul. Hospice whispers came soft. Family orbiting like moons. Last lucid dream shared. See the apples? Still rolling. Alex's vigil, hand in hand, as breath eased to hush. The service, spring blossomed in Discovery Park, wove grief to garland. Riley's eulogy. Dad Joe taught us history's accidents birth heroes. Elias read Whitman. Nova played fiddle laments. Alex unveiled a final mural. Jordan mid-spill, eternal grin. Laughter pierced. Toast to his puns. Pie tossed in tribute. In afterglow, Alex wandered trails alone. Then with grandkids, Elias's arm steady. Nova's tales tumbling. He'd say keep spilling. Elias grinned. Nova's nod. Into stories. Years folded. Alex 90, canvas sparse but heart full. Elias's wedding to Theo, a beachfront vow under gulls. Nova's first book, dedications dancing. Great grand whispers. Elias's twins, a boy and girl, accidents anew. One dawn, Alex sketched from memory. That first lock of eyes, apples eternal. Our greatest plot, he murmured to the breeze. Laughter and tears, the ink of immortality, family the page.